Good morning! This is the Abundance Mindset Podcast. Sit back and relax as we discuss hot topics on how to handle and grow your business, self-development, and how positivity can bring profitability in your life. Here are your hosts, Vinney and Walter.
Welcome back, Alchemists. This is Abundance Thursdays with myself, Walter Morello, and the great Vinney Smile Chopra. Vinney, welcome back from California. I recognize that desk.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. I'm back. I was gone with my daughter, Monica, and I went to Phoenix, Arizona, where we have bought, single family homes. And then we converted two of them in the last 6 months. And we furnished everything, got licenses for the residential assisted livings. And so we met and we saw the homes first time.
Hold on, Vinney, before you tell us about the homes, we gotta just, everybody who's listening. So, Vinney didn't just buy 2 single family homes. He bought 2 single-family homes that have 10 bedrooms each. Is that correct?
Yes.
Right,
8 bedroom in one, and
single-family homes.
in another one. Yep.
So 10 in one. And
Homes.
what did you say in the other one?
8 bedrooms in the other one. Yeah. Beautiful properties. I bought them remotely. I never saw the properties. And, just asked the realtor to give me video as if I'm coming out of the Uber and going into the front, then opening the door and going through the whole house. And the realtor gave me within one hour, she gave me the videos. So it was almost like I went to San Francisco airport, got the plane, took an Uber, 4, 5, 6 hours, and maybe thousands of dollars to buy a ticket right away, right? And she was able to show me, and then 50 pictures. I said, I want really 50 pictures. Tell me why I should buy it. What's the appraisal on that? What's the inspection report on that? So those things really make a difference. Once you really get to the bottom of it, then it's in the right neighborhood, right location. If the price is right, I can close in 14 days. That's what I did. On both of them, I closed in 14 days.
And the only thing that doesn't come through is the smell, right? So you have to be there for the smell. And you just ask the realtor, what's it smell like when you walked into the house? Does it smell like somebody wants to live there? Or does it smell like we got a plumbing issue or a mold issue? Or those are very simple.
So thankful you asked that. Actually, these single family homes were converted. Like one was converted from 3 bedroom to 10 bedroom and 10 bathroom. So it took them 1.5 years to do the whole conversion.
So this is new construction. They already did this for you. You didn't come in and do this. You found them this way. You purchased them this way. What is the square footage on these? Are these 3,000-4,000 square foot homes?
About 33, 60 is one, and 28, some 100 is other one. See, in residential assisted living, the limit, what should be minimum per senior, is about 182 square feet. So you can have smaller bedrooms. Ours are like 200, 220 square feet or something. So if you have 10 seniors for 3,300 square feet home, that's plenty.
Everybody who's listening to this right now, who's considering senior assisted living or residential assisted living, is what we're talking about right now, needs to write that number down. 180 square feet. So a lot of people here, you bought a 10-bedroom house and they're thinking, wow, this must be 10,000 square feet, or this must be a huge mansion. You're talking about a 3,300 square foot, 2,800 square foot, and you're making the bedrooms. What is it? 180 square feet, that's 9 by 9. That's a 9 by 9 room. We're talking about 11 by 11 rooms.
Yeah, 11 by 11. See, the thing is, 11 by 11 is a pretty good sized bedroom,
That's 220 square feet.
Dining. That's pretty good. And each state has their own laws. So I would definitely say anybody watching us, again, this is for entertainment, and educational purposes only. We are not giving you advice to get started on it right away. You got to really learn the business and learn. And, I'm giving a webinar. 429 people have signed up, which is at 10 o'clock today, on Zoom webinar. I can get up to 500 people, I think, in my account. But the good thing is, you got to really dig into this market, residential assisted living, senior living. Let's just say senior living. doing good for seniors and also making good money is not a bad thing, you know?
I love this. So learn it. You just kind of hinted to something else, and it's related to today's principle. Learn it, do it, and then teach it. Or learn it, do it, and then automate it, delegate it, hire somebody, hire it out.
Totally.
So you learn it. That's what the webinars are for, and then you get a mentor, right? Because if you're going to be doing something, you need a mentor to do something, and then you start teaching your staff in order to scale up and get to the next level. So diving into the principle that we're going to talk about this weekend. Build a contagious culture in your business and marketing. So I know, Vinney, I dropped this principle on you like last minute, and you didn't have time to write me a note.
No problem.
I got some for you. So for a person who's getting into this, just off the top of your head, without looking at any of the notes that I sent over, a person who's getting into residential assisted living, real estate in general, but this is a much better niche for people who they don't have a ton of money, but they're willing to do a lot of work and willing to bring in staff eventually, because you're doing all this with staff. What are some tips you give as a manager and owner of, you've had, I think it was 150 people you had working for you, or it was over that. That was just the direct reports for you and your team. So what is something you did to build a culture that actually made them like coming to work and like doing a good job? Because that's what I think stops a lot of people from hiring, is they're like, oh, you can't find good help. Well, you can find great help, but how long do they stay with you? And do they do things the right way? And that all comes down to cultural components. So if you can talk a little bit about maybe those first hires.
Love to. See, the biggest thing is you got to have the pure heart. First of all, you got to really be totally immersed into what your business plan is. Where do you want to take your company to the next level? Like when I was buying Monil Investment Group properties, 50 units, 60 units, 191 units, 192 units.
What was your peak max unit?
My peak was 8,000, 8,500, my own direct ownership. When I joined my LPs, because I invest into other people's syndications too, so that if they got a good deal, I invested lots of money in theirs. So that's like, I don't know, 16,000 units maybe, but I never talk about it. I just talk about where I was on the loan, on lots of millions of dollars of loan. So that's about 8,500 for over 1.3 billion direct. And if I join with my LP positions, then it's like 1.6 billion or something like that. But don't worry about it. I think anybody, please don't feel these numbers are daunting. They were very daunting to me, to be very truthful. I hear a guy came with $7 from India, a little $7 kid, having some expectations in mind and, just thinking positive and big, like David J. Schwartz, Magic of Thinking Big, remember? That book is so amazing. That changed my lifestyle. But the key thing is you got to really hire right people. It's the raw material, which I always believed in. So when we hired 158 people at the peak, 158 every 2 weeks payroll, we always paid them every 15 days, not monthly, and never missed the payroll ever in the last 14, 15 years. But the biggest thing was making sure that they catch the vision that they are Monil, they are the brand. When the residents come into apartment complex in the main office, we'll train them to stand up. The leasing agent needs to smile and smell good and be dressed up. We always manage remotely. I only used to travel 3 times a year, that's all. Just 3 times. But our systems were so great that we'll have great cameras, great computer systems, brand new, every apartment complex. I bought brand new computer systems and with great webcams and everything, so that when we have the meeting, the KPI, key performance indicator meetings, every week, set times, and everybody had to turn the cameras on. No off. I mean, that was complete policy, and the corporate culture was to give them bonuses twice a year. Not only they made their hourly pay, but our company will give them, every team member got a bonus in June, and then also end of November, because of Christmas and all, their families, they want to take some gifts and so forth and enjoy time. So I always did that. And we did some award banquets also in the early years in Texas. I remember some of my students came there and they were flabbergasted, to see what kind of culture. Now, when we started selling our properties, because we sold a lot, our managers used to cry, literally. They said, Vinny, when are you going to buy the next one? And we still get calls now from Texas, from Arizona, I mean from Florida, and then also from Atlanta, Georgia, right there, because that's where we did. And then also in Tennessee too. I mean, we just sold the asset there. So it's the culture to really respect everybody. They are not
So
employees. They are not employees. They are team members.
for everybody who's just jumping in, we're talking about this is, by the way, Abundance Thursdays with myself, Walter Merlo, and Vinney Chopra, and we do this every Thursday at 9 a.m. PST, Pacific Standard Time, and 12 p.m. EST. And one day I'll say that so smooth, it's going to be amazing. And today's principle we're diving into is principle 13, build a contagious culture in your business and your marketing. And we talk about this, we'll go deep into the details later on Saturday on the Saturday call. But Vinny's doing this every Thursday for one reason. He said he wants to build a million millionaires. He said, look at those 100 millionaires. He said, Walter, I think that's nice. I like that. But that's a goal that is a lone person. One person can build 100 millionaires. He said, I think that's possible. But he said, together, I think we build a million millionaires. And that's where Alchemist Nation's really taken that step. So as we go into this principle, remember who you're listening to. You're listening to Vinney Chopra. This is a man who came to this country with $7, who built it up to a portfolio of 8,500 units, $1.3 billion, raised over $200 million. In fact, I think it's a little more than that. You tell me it's $220
Yes, not more.
million, a lot more than that. And it's been raised over and over the years. So if you're listening to this and you've got some level of success, maybe you're accredited, you've got a couple $1 million, but you're maybe sitting there thinking, oh, well, I'm good, I'm comfortable. I really want you to listen to this podcast and listen to what Vinny's talking about. He had 8,500 units and he had people begging him to stay in employment because they loved Vinney Chopra, loved the team, loved the culture. So I know that as business owners, as entrepreneurs, as people who own 100 units, 200, 300 units, we have a lot of these challenges that aren't that one. That's such a great problem to have, is that your staff is so thankful to work for you that when you do sell the building, they're genuinely distraught. They're concerned. They're like, oh man, I've got the greatest employer. We had such a great culture. I want to dive more into this. Both principle 13 is build a contagious culture in your business and marketing. That means, Vinny, what you've built, people remembered after you left, after you sold the building, the next employer got this amazing culture was already pre-built. And my guess is a lot of times that falls apart because you were doing weekly calls, KPI based calls,
Yes.
not just, hey, check in how you're doing. It was, here's where I want you to go. Can you talk a little bit about what went on in that call? And I do like the standing up, because when I go to a hotel, a great hotel, they don't even have sit down
Yes.
desks. The desks are standing desks. The person's standing all day
That's right.
greeting you.
That's
And
right.
it makes so much sense for leasing offices. I've been some 500 unit properties where the leasing agents, all the leasing offices, all sitting down, they're comfortable, they're relaxed. I walked in, and I'm like, who do I talk to? Does anybody want to see me? I'm thinking about leasing, or I'm a tenant. So, Vinny, if you could
It's
talk
it's
about
the culture.
that talk.
It's so true. It's so good. The training has to be there. Training, you cannot zap your team members. If you don't show them, first of all, hire the right people. I always paid a little bit more than the competition, which is great, because if our team members are well poised and they get two bonuses, like I said, we kept on doing it, and we had really good. Once you are working with great quality people, then the occupancy levels go up. Then the community managers have empowerment on getting, and I got involved in every contract, larger contracts with the vendors and everything, and had a win-win-win-win situation. That's how I believed in, always. That's what our motto has been and was. We got to make sure the residents are winning. They are really enjoying living in our communities. Our team members who are in direct contact with the residents, they're winning. Then comes our vendors, they're winning. So they are gold. I always said residents are gold, our team members are gold, then our vendors are gold, then our investors are gold, because investors gave millions of dollars to my companies to buy these big apartment buildings and hotels and senior livings. So then fifth one is us. So we are at the bottom of the pile. We want to make sure everybody's up there taken care of. Then the systems. At the peak, I had 5 full-time people in my accounting department alone, because we are collecting $250,000 a month in several properties. At the peak, we had, 40 total buildings I had, right? So at the peak, we had 27, I think, because we bought and after 3 years, we sell them, right? 3 to 4 years, we sell them and
Now,
buy
I
them.
know-
Hi friends, this is Vinney Chopra from here in Danville, California. And you might be saying, hey Vinney, what are these over here? I wrote this book a few years back, Apartment Syndication Made Easy. It became top seller. I came from India with $7 in my pocket. It says 500 million. It's going to be 1 billion very soon, very soon. I'm right at about 850, 900 million. And then I'm ready for the next billion. Actually, you will see that happening, 2 billion in this book also. The other book I wrote, which has been a very big positivity, has been my life. Always, I've been married 43 years with 2 children, and the beauty is to be positive, the mindset that can take you to all the places in the world. And that's the book that also became big seller. My third book, Senior Assisted Living, is coming. So do yourself a favor, go ahead and click the link below to get free copies, audio copies of these books, even printed copies of these books. Printed means digital, if you can't afford it. But I would highly recommend for you to get these, or go to Amazon.com. Just go to Amazon. I got it in soft cover, in hardcover, in Kindle, in audio, also the Spanish version of this book also. So let's crush it, guys. I know you can be successful. I know you can do the kind of things that you want to do in life and have the streams of income and know how to really, educate yourself so that you could become a strong force in this world in real estate. I know you can. So take that step. Don't just be on the sideline. Take charge of your life. Take charge of your education.
I know you, and you're giving us this 40 buildings, but it's not 40 buildings. This is 40 properties, because your buildings are
40
like
properties,
this
yeah.
property behind me. That's 13 buildings. So you're talking about hundreds of buildings across 40 properties.
Yeah. No, you're right. These are 40 complexes, 40 different millions and millions, like the one we have now at Med Center, regarded Med Center. It's got 319 units in apartment. It's worth 70 million. So you're right. That's like 40 of those.
You had 5 people in your accounting department. Now, I've come from the accounting background. I came from finance. I worked for Johnson & Johnson. I worked for Computer Associates. There was another one, Coca-Cola, and I worked in finance. Most of the time, that is, I used to sit in these departments where there's 6 of us or 14 of us, and we didn't talk all day. And I obviously left those companies because I didn't feel a very strong cultural connection. How do you get it so that even the most boring job within your company, they feel touched, like they're a part of the system, like they're a part of a really important project, which Monil really is. It's, providing housing for people.
I would say I give credit to our Vice President of Accounting, Anna Martinez, and she might be listening to us. She's blessing to us, and she's investing in so many deals with us, and multimillion, right? But she's almost like a CPA. She's got every kind of qualification. She was working for a very big accounting firm in San Francisco, and she joined us as an investor. And then we she left her job, and then she's still with us, by the way. 17 years, 18 years later, she's still with us. We don't have that big department anymore because we've sold so much. And now we work with big companies like, oh my gosh, RCL or something, RAM Partners, all these big companies work with us now. We manage them. So they do the property management for us for our big, all the assets and so forth like that. But the key thing is you got to have a good systems, accounting system, marketing system, HR system. That's what I built from scratch, right into our whole structure, so that each and every single part of the equation was working properly. And
This
then
is
give the responsibility, give it to the people you hire. Don't just meddle with them. See, they do much better job than I could ever do it, right? So you hire the right people and let them really get excited and excel in their work. So that's
this
what.
is valuable for anybody who's listening. I want you to know that I ask Vinny questions that are relevant to me as an operator, relevant to me as an investor, relevant to me as an accredited investor. And so if you're listening and saying, "Well, why is Walter asking that?" It's because it's very self-serving. A lot of Vinny's answers, I hope, are for also Alchemist Nation, our accredited investors, our high net worth individuals, and anybody who's just even thinking about, "Well, I could do this." You may be listening and saying, "I can't have 85,000 units, 8,500 units, maybe." But it is possible. I'm buying 80 units. They close next Friday. So next Friday, we're closing on 80 units in Jackson, Mississippi. We have 35 units in Decatur, Illinois, and I have 12 units back in Massachusetts. And as we're looking at
Yes.
all of this, and I'm listening to Vinny, I'm like, wow, like I really want to build that culture because I'm hiring staff right now. I'm hiring, Vinny, your favorite word, international partners. I'm hiring a
Yes.
few virtual
Yes.
assistants to take on some of this,
Totally.
the
Mhm.
online thing,
Mhm.
right? The accounting and some of that work. And I want to make
Totally.
sure because I brought one on and I haven't had a meeting since I hired her. And it's been a week. And I'm thinking, wow, a weekly meeting just to get the whole team together and say, hey, we're part of a
Yes.
team. Here's the big
Yes.
direction that we're going in. If you could break down what goes into that meeting, what are some of the key components, KPIs you're talking about? And I know it's not a 2 hour meeting. So how long do you make
No,
it?
no, no.
Yep.
Half an hour to 45 minutes. What are the KPIs, the key performance indicator factors in any apartment building? Number one are the leases. How many leases? How many people came to tour? And what's our ratio of conversion? Then we look at delinquency and the total collections. So it's very driven by the revenue. That's the engine, the revenue and expenses. I try to see as an engineer, I look at everything in a very simplified way. That's how my nature is. I say, let's not bog down with so many different things. We got to only look at occupancy, 30 days, 60 days, 90-day notices, because we want to make sure who are the residents who are going out. And we need to know that now so that we could make sure our leasing efforts are in alignment. Our websites are working, our capturing of the leads are working, our leasing people are doing their work and everything. So it's occupancy, it's delinquency, it's collections, and then it's maintenance. Haha. We want to make sure that our lead tech and all the work orders, how many work orders did we get? So we used to have like an Excel worksheet where all these KPIs will be written out by the community manager. We always say community manager, and she will or he will write out all these things by the end of Sunday night, I think, and we met it on Monday morning or Tuesday morning. If many times we met on Tuesday so that Monday they were able to do all these KPI reports, and we always believed in that because you got to let them know what you're going to be talking about. So it's not a relationship building meeting at all. It's a down to earth, making sure that all the different things are covered, and then we make decisions what we are going to be doing that rest of the week, so that before we meet next week. And then we looked at budgets and all those things. So lots of great things come out in this very productive meeting. See, meetings can be boring like crazy, and people don't want to come to the meetings. But by keeping them crisp and making sure what KPIs are, as the owner, you need to know. And it's not hidden knowledge, it's right there. I mean, it's those are the four, five, six things. And then we used the rent manager, if I remember correctly. Rent manager. We still use it, by the way. We are using rent manager for my senior assisted livings now. What? I've gone to RealPage, I've gone to AppFolio, I've gone to all these CRMs. They charge you $1,500 a month. And rent manager or Buildian, I think you use the Buildian, I think, which is inexpensive. That's what I used for 14 years, 16 years. Rent manager cost me only per login 150 $175, I think, or something. And so cheap, so cheap. Anyway, but the key thing is you got to have a good software so that you could have P&Ls right there, rent rolls. You can have all these work orders in there, invoicing, because you got to make sure that invoices are well vetted. What's that word? You got to make sure that they are not fake invoices that you are paying, brother. Oh my gosh. So we had three people out of five people in my accounting department. Three were accounts payable. We had accounts payable manager and two reporters to her because we were paying millions of dollars a month in these invoices. And then I had the VP at the peak, VP of accounting, who she was overseeing all five people. And then we have accounting of the revenue coming in. So what we planned was no cash. Even a resident who had to give $2 or 250 or $5, they have to get a money order. And then money order needs to be scanned. We had bank scanners installed, computer connected to our bank accounts of every asset. So in real time, every check was logged in, like 10 checks at a time, if I remember correctly, or people paid online. If they paid online, it was directly money coming into the bank, and we did not lose a dime in 18 years. Not a dime, not a dime. I mean, I'm so proud of our, VP of finance. I mean, very meticulously, all the entry, all the budgets, all keeping track of all the monies coming in, going out. And then banks, your loan, lenders need quarterly reports and everything. And 1099 people like we are doing right now in January, 1099. So we are wrapping up it's only 16th of January, wrapping up 2024 in all the LLCs that we have, all the businesses and so on. So systems are magic. Once you build the right systems, and that's what I teach in my mastermind. I mean, if people pay me now 100,000 to coach them one-on-one. I can only take few students, but my group coaching, I give everything that I've learned over 40 years.
And I love the Wednesday calls. I get so much value when I'm in there, and the group is really supportive and really cool. One of the things you mentioned just now was systems. Now, for the person who's listening, the entrepreneur who's like, okay, we're talking about culture, we're talking about making your culture addictive. It is a culture that is scalable, a culture that is contagious, is a system-based culture. It is the smile is this way, the message is that way, the meeting is done like this. Even in a department as boring as accounting, they have standards that they can look for. There's KPIs, there's bonuses. You talked about these two bonuses. I'm sure those are attached to KPIs. So you've actually, this system, I think I can't remember who wrote this in the book, but they said it's a game. You've got to get your team on board with the game, and the systems are really the rule book of the game. So if you've ever played a board game, for anybody listening, you played a board game before, it's nice and fun when everybody knows the rules, and it's really slow starting when you got to learn the rules together, or when somebody challenges the rules, you got to go back to the rule book. And if it wasn't for the rule book, there'd be mutiny within your own home with your family and your friends. So how did you build the systems for the culture, Vinny? Was this you yourself? Did you bring somebody in who knew what they were doing? Was this like, I know one of the principles is foster collaboration with the team. How were the systems put in place? How did you come down to this cultural system?
Very good point. I would say that, I mean, when I started in this business 20 years back in multifamily syndication, I was naive. I didn't know what cash on cash was. I didn't know what LOI was, letter of intent. I was buying single family homes. It goes into contract straight, no LOI, all those things. But I hired very highly experienced staff or team members who brought the culture with them, their knowledge with them. So, being a sponge, I learned more and more. I even remember having, oh my gosh, I think David Lindahl, my mentor, of course, a lot of people know him. He's a good friend of mine now. I'm one of his bright students. And then
You're one of his favorite
Miss White
students. Vin, you are
was
on
the
his website. Dave Lindahl has testimonials of you on his website. You are not just a friend. You are one of his favorite students.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And Jackie White was back then who was teaching management of apartments courses. So I hired her. I think I paid 25, 30,000 back then. She flew into Texas and built our company. She built the whole management company from scratch. I didn't know nothing. She put the manual together, employee manual and all. So that's where I really believe in investing money to build systems. See, because when people invest money, and I just made, at the peak, we were making $1 million a year just in managing our own apartments. So I'm the CEO of the management company, I'm the CEO of the acquisition company, and investors knew it. And just like paying 3% out to a third party, we paid from the property 3% monthly to the management company. And since we were both same, we were saving money and negotiating with vendors and everything. So it's best to have two LLCs separately, which I'm doing in RAL now, residential assisted living. We got property LLC, which buys it. And then there is a management or operating LLC, which is managing that asset. And we are on both sides. And that's the beauty. The key thing is you got to do it legally and make sure that you form all the contracts and write out with help of legal or attorneys, because you want to not copy paste things. I hate that when people tell me, Vinny, I just pasted it from there and here. No, 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 no. Invest a little bit of money. But the key thing I wanted to mention was that culture of the property comes from the vision of the CEO. If you are not driven for the passion and everything, people will see through. They'll see through. If you're up and down and everything and frazzled and not really have your eye on the ball, I say, I mean, on the focus and all, they will see through you and they will lax, and they will say, you know what, I don't have job security in this company. Literally, they'll
Yep.
put their resume out in Indeed and Craigslist and everything. We could see. But the other thing which I really always have believed in, if there is poison in the company, you got to cut the poison right away. You got to, because otherwise that poison is going to spread and that's going to contaminate. So I have fired people instantly. I mean, once people found out, and I did some research and and made sure, then we just try to get them out of the organization, because they are not part of, they will be good for somewhere else. But if they are not really motivated, they are not really doing the right things, and they are cutting all these things right there, right? So we cannot afford to have that. We cannot afford to have that. So
Amazing.
that's another part of the culture.
Amazing. That is, and we got to wrap this up, guys. So for everybody who's watching, this is Vinny Chopra on with Abundance Thursdays. He does this every single Thursday with me, and he does it for you. He wants to build 100 millionaires. It's not 100 millionaires. I want to build 100 millionaires. Vinny wants to build 1 million millionaires. He wants to take Alchemist Nation to that whole other level where we're contributing to our investors, we're contributing to our tenants, we're contributing to our communities. And I think that everybody listening right now has a chance to change their lives and change the lives of other people. So if you're listening to this and you're finding there's somebody in your life you need to remove, now is a good time to remove them because they're stopping you from getting to the next level. It could be in your business, it could be in your accounting, it could be somewhere in your life, it could be just, in your job. Maybe you got to go reconcile everything and just say, wow, because if your culture is not sticking, it could be because of that person. So without further ado, Vinny, what tip would you give somebody who's really looking to get started in maybe either passive investing or learning more about multifamily or residential assisted living? You do your mastermind every Wednesday. Tell me a little bit more about these
Yes.
webinar you got going on literally in 14 minutes. 'Cause a lot of people may not catch that as this recording goes out, but where can they find out about your webinars?
My webinars are all published now, or you could buy free tickets over at Eventbrite, Eventbrite, Eventbrite. That's where all the webinars are. And you could go there, Vinney Chopra, and you could get a ticket, free ticket. I have got 436, I just saw. People have registered. We just started promoting. I just did one, 200 people in December. This is January. In just 3 weeks, 426 new investors are ready. So I'm ready to give my very best. I have a mastermind where I take them into smaller groups. So I might be starting 2 or 3 groups a week actually now, teaching RALs and handhold them, take them to the next level. See, a lot of time people feel that seminars are no good or having a coach is no good. But
Those
then
people are
you
wrong. Those people are just
they're
wrong.
wrong. I mean, I wouldn't be where
I
I
wouldn't be
am
here.
if I had not. You wouldn't be really, because you got to invest a little bit. It's not an expense. It's a investment that will save you thousands of dollars and that will get you into the right path. So that's why I say I have online academy. People can learn. I'm building senior living academy also along with multifamily and hotels. And then, brother, I love Walter, my partner, and he's got Alchemist Nation, and we are also building a great, whole ecosystem over there. Please join us there also so that we can take you to the next level.
So for everybody who's listening, I did mention Saturday is ibuildmillionaires.com. That is the link. So Saturday at 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, we're going to go through and I'm going to take everything I learned from Vinny today, the past 5 years of teaching this, and I'm going to go back and break down that principle a little bit deeper so you get Wealth Principle 13 at a deeper degree, and it will bring the book of the week with it. You can go to vinnychopra.com if you're interested in investing in one of Vinny's deals or taking some of his courses. Just navigate your way through the website. All of his Eventbrite now links directly through that. I noticed you update it. Or you can go to Vinny's Facebook or LinkedIn.
We did.
Yep.
My team just did it, by the way. I forgot. It's vinnychopra.com/events. So all the events will be showing up there now, directly. So that'll be nice. But thank you so much for joining. God bless you. Again, we all can take action. That's what I say. Many people just go from seminar to seminar to seminar. They read books, but they don't take action. But now is the time. 2025, 26, 27 will be killer years because one took action. So we'll see you next Thursday. Thank you so much. Thank you, Walter, brother. I'll see you again.
This is the Funnest Thursdays every Thursday, 9 a.m. PST, 12 p.m. EST. Cheers to your success. We have a choice. Always work with the best. See you next week.
See you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Hey there! The upcoming episode is scheduled for Thursday. We appreciate your viewership of the Abundance Mindset Show. Tune in every Thursday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time or 12 p.m. Eastern on various social media platforms hosted by Vinney Chopra and Walter Amarello. Don't forget to subscribe, share your comments, and leave a 5-star review. Thank you for your support.